Bitcoin is making news again. Why is Bitcoin making so much news now? Is it because the market is going into some kind of a recession, or am I just bugging out? The bond market is doing horrible and is showing signs of recession, like I explained to you guys before. So where is all of this is going, and why Bitcoin is making so much news now? Well, you want to find out all about that? Well, you gotta stick around. All of that coming back. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. How you guys doing out there? So we're talking about the market again this week, as the market is moving in, where the market is going and what the market is about to be doing. We also see that the bond market is not doing so great. It's showing signs of recessions. I put a video up about the recession and what I think what was going to happen with the recession. So I'll put that card up there so you guys can see it. And this way you guys know exactly what this video is all about as far as to, do I believe the market is going into a recession? Now, with all of that being said and done, we have a lot of now the big whales and a lot of big investors who are now downplaying Bitcoin. The reason why they're doing this is because they know that if there is a possibility that the market goes into a recession, you might have a lot of investors that might run into the cryptocurrency world instead, because it's a little bit more attractive. So with that being said, the best thing to do is try to slay the monster now before it gets out of control. So you got big, and when I say big names, you got big names like Warren Buffett, who's talking about it's not a great thing, it's more of an illusion and type of things like that. They try to bring the biggest and most successful investors in the world to actually go ahead and talk about Bitcoin, so this way they can actually bring it down completely. Now, I also read an article. I'm going to leave the link at the comment section below, so this way you guys can read this. Now, this is a news article that I read about Bitcoin and how a lot of these how can I put it? A lot of these platforms, like let's say Coinbase, CoinMarketCap, and a lot of these platforms, from this article, they're saying that they are reporting false information, that instead of it being an accurate number of volume, they are just inflating their numbers ridiculously. Now, I found it to be hilarious, and I kind of chuckled back when I looked at all this, for the simple reason that they actually, in this report, from this reporter who actually did this report and wrote it down, this news article, you know, he explains how he found out from his investigation that, you know, it's not actual the right amount of money being put into the Bitcoin platform. And so basically what he's saying is instead of them reporting $230 million, let's say for an example, they are reporting something like 600 million, or maybe as much as 1 billion into these platforms, as far as to making their platforms look a little bit more, how can I put it, attractive, so this way investors can come in and actually invest in their platforms instead. Now, I like the idea that he was able to go ahead and break all of that down, but I did not like the idea that he did not show any proof whatsoever. Now, if you're going to give me something like that, I need proof. You just can't come in just because you're a news reporter and say, hey, listen, I'm a news reporter, you know what I'm saying? I got the facts. Well, if you do have the facts, list your sources. If you list your sources for everyone else to see, then we can understand if this is actually something that is true or something that is fabricated. Now, this is the big thing going on right now with the States, where the president has said that, you know, the media is more of fake news than anything else. And we're seeing now this being trickled over into the investment point, where actually now we know the market is going to go into recession. No one can tell me that it's not going into recession. The numbers are there, numbers don't lie. So basically now they're trying to go ahead now and try to deter investors from leaving the market, so this way they can stay in the market and don't run into the crypto world, because you know what, the crypto world is no good, is none of that stuff. Now, I did get some also news clips that I got from offline, and where I actually, you got this guy named Tommy Lee, who actually is a big supporter of Bitcoin. And this is what he had to say.
We've seen the launch of digital currencies by not only JP Morgan and Mizuho Bank, but also Facebook and some social media companies gearing up. And of course,
Now, Tommy Lee has been a big advocate for Bitcoin for the longest, and he's one of the bullish guys that I have ever known. And to actually hear him on how he speaks about Bitcoin and everything else. But there's more to that as he goes along and explains. So we're going to listen to the second part of this as he goes ahead and gets into that.
And actually, I think some credibility. JP Morgan's coin is essentially a stable coin.
Right.
I think it's not a threat to Bitcoin because it doesn't offer upside, but it probably makes other stablecoin projects less useful.
Now, he actually is giving some kind of a prediction of where he believes Bitcoin is going to be going. Now, I gotta be clear with you guys here, right? This guy has more fails than hits.
Like how long? 6 months more?
Well, I think
6,000 or?
Well, I think I think the key number to watch is the 200-day moving average. And I think if Bitcoin holds here around 4,000, it'll cross above its 200-day by August.
And when I say more fails than hits, in other words, he's predicting that maybe by this time it's going to go up, and it doesn't. He predicts maybe it's going to do this, and it doesn't. He doesn't have a real fundamental base of really what's going, besides the point that he just believes that it's going to go in that direction, like a lot of us would believe. But he doesn't really have the fundamental base to really narrow it down to the pinpoint of where it's at. So he's just basically guessing. But as he's guessing, now we have the wolves of Wall Street that are going to come now and are going to actually devour this guy. So I got another clip on that as far as to how they feel about all of this.
Let's start with the fact that he said that there's been a rally in risk assets. Well, that's wrong. Over the last couple of weeks, gold has fallen $50 or about 4%. And that's probably the number one risk asset in the world.
Now, if you notice, these guys are talking about commodities. They're talking about which is the bigger one, which is the one that holds the most weight. Now, I did a video about that, putting the car up there, as far as to where it actually goes to. What do all investors look for? Now, I did explain gold is the number one standard. I did not put that in any other way, but in the right way, that it is the number one standard. Now you got it from these wolves on Wall Street telling you the same thing. It's the standard. So there is no way that we can see currency itself being the standard when we see that the real standard here is the gold. And because a lot of Bitcoin investors were buying into the gold, well, that made a little threat to Wall Street. But let's hear more about these Wolf of Wall Streets on actually how they tear up a little bit more of Tommy Lee here, and also at the same time how they explain about JP Morgan and what JP Morgan is really all about.
The idea that you can equate Bitcoin with what JP Morgan is doing is fundamentally flawed, and I think disingenuous in the extreme. JP Morgan coin is not public blockchain, it's private blockchain.
So as you can see, guys, this is basically everything that's going on, and this all happened all last week.
A very fundamental difference between the two, and all they're doing is using an accounting trick to speed up the pace at which they can execute wire transfers. They're not trying to create a digital coin or any of that other stuff.
But what about...
So all last week, while the market is doing its ups and downs and flips and turns and everything else, this basically just was something that just came in and was just kind of washed underneath the table for a lot of people not following or anything else because of the Robert Mueller investigation and everything else that happened with that. Now, as we can see that, that the market is going in the direction that it's going, and there's nothing that nobody can do about this. It just is what it is. The market is going to react the way it's going to react, and the market is going to do what the market normally does. So if it does fall down into recession, this is the perfect opportunity for those guys who are watching these videos and are not actually getting into investment or don't know when to jump into investment. Just keep watching the market and wait for that recession to hit. When that recession hits, it's the perfect opportunity to jump into it. Now, Warren Buffett himself has said that, while everybody is running away from something, you should be running towards it. So if you want to really listen to master gurus, then this is the perfect time to actually watch the market and run to it when everyone else is running away from it. You will actually come out a winner on the long run. This is something that's really, 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 really important for you guys to learn, okay, and to follow up and go through. Now, I would love to know if you guys actually believe that all of this stuff that's going on actually is going to be happening. Do you believe Bitcoin actually going to rally somewhere in August and it's going to go up? I would love to know what you guys think. Share your comments with us so this way we can share it with the community. And as far as to find out what is it that everyone has in their head, what is it that people feel, and what is it that people are going out there explaining to other people as far as to what they feel, or if they feel bullish or if they feel bearish upon to what's going on with Bitcoin. Same thing with the market. Do you guys believe that the market is actually heading for a recession, or do you guys believe that the market is just basically the market and is doing just what it does its best? So I'm just crazy to think that it's going into a recession and when it really isn't. Love to hear your comments at the comment section below. And as always, guys, don't forget, more gains, more gains, more gains. Giving it your max of effort. Peace out.